Doesn't show everybody when you're recording, does it?
It shows whoever's talking.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you're being recorded right now.
That's funny.
Because I hit record. So, okay, cool. Before we get started in the actual, doing the foam rolling and stuff, I want to kind of talk through a little bit about what we are doing and why we are doing it. So basically the purpose of foam rolling is, if you think about the muscle being like stacks of things, is the best way to simplify it. They normally slide back and forth, but when you get a knot or when you get tightness or when you're working out a lot, they get sticky and so they don't move. And what the foam rolling does is, by adding pressure to it, it helps release that stickiness. So the thing that most, 90% of people do incorrectly foam rolling is, you'll see people, or if you've gone to the gym or if you've ever just seen people, they're just like dee 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 dee, and that does absolutely nothing. Yeah, just sitting here and going back and forth, at this quick pace, you're doing very, very little. I mean, it's better than absolutely nothing, but you're doing very, very little. So what you want to do is you want to take it super duper slow and really focus on the sticky parts. And then the other thing is that it can be super duper customizable. So this is a standard roller. It's 15 to 20 bucks. It's Amazon Basics. And it's a medium density. For me, I personally prefer a PVC pipe because that just doesn't really get to what I need it to get. Some places it does, but other places it doesn't. But on the same note, so Lindy, you're working with a rolling pin, we start working a little bit and you're like, ow, that's way too intense. Mm-hmm. Simply take a towel and wrap it around, so now you've got a little cushion to decrease the intensity.
Okay.
Another thing, which again, I was kind of joking that I have all of the things, different balls of different sizes. I know Marina, hooray, I actually have neither of those with me today because they're both at Jenna's. Yeah. So show Lindy and whoever else is watching the recording those two balls. So Lindy, we'll do some stuff that we'll use the balls for. If you don't have them, we can totally still use the roller. But
I use this one like how I used to steal your ball at 24 bet.
Yeah.
And then I actually don't use this a ton, but these are all my husband's, and he puts this under his shoulder blade.
Yeah, we'll do that one today because I need it, and I'll just actually use my little tiny football for it. But so again, baseballs, softballs, wine bottles, rolling pins, PVC pipes. I've also got this PVC pipe, which absolutely could be used. This is essentially the same thing as a PVC pipe, only it's slightly flexible. And it comes in varying flexibilities. But every single one of these things does the exact same thing, where it's putting pressure on the tension and help breaking up that friction so that everything moves better. Okay? So we're gonna start with the basics of placement and speed and whatnot, but then we'll get into some of the specifics of what you two need, since you're the two here, and we'll hit some of my sweet spots. But then if you have any other questions or hey, how would you do it for this, things like that, we'll do that as well. So for now, grab whatever you're using as your roller. I am going to use my PVC pipe. I'm actually going to turn so I'm facing you guys. Just 'cause it's a little easier. So you're going to take it, and on your calf, you've got like the skinny part, and then you've got the meaty part. So you're going to put it where the skinny part and where the meaty part kind of meet. So right there. And then one basic principle that we're going to be using all day, especially for legs and arms, is if you rotate your foot in and out, it's going to change where it hits on your muscle and where you feel it and where you need it. So from here, all you're going to do is lean back onto your hands and then start super duper slow, putting pressure down onto it and rolling forwards. As soon as you find some place that feels sticky or slightly painful, hang out there and then just kind of rotate. So for me, it's right here. Slowly go an inch forward, half an inch back, rotate your foot one side, the other, until you feel it make a difference, whether it's a slight release feeling or a less intense pain feeling. And if you're not feeling much, it looks like Marina's doing fine. But for me, again, where my spot hits is super deep. So I then put my other leg on top. Yep, right there, found it. So I put my other leg on top for added weight to press in. There, Lindy found it. Lindy found it.
Do you hover your butt, Betsy, or do you have your butt on the ground?
I personally, at the moment, have my butt down. So my butt is down. Oh, right there. Oh, God. Yep, right there. To find where I need it. But if I wanted extra, or if I needed to come up a little higher, I would absolutely hover my butt. So you want to...
And it just hurts.
Yep, that's correct. Then you're doing it correctly. If it just hurts.
Okay.
Yep. That is correct. That means it's working. And so you want to spend 30 seconds to a minute on those sticky spots, and then release it off, and we'll go to the other side. Now, right there actually is where I need it.
I think it's the quick feet that get my calves.
Yeah, it's the quick feet and it's the jumping jacks that get our calves. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna start down, or if you know exactly where your point is, you can just jump right to your point. And again, by moving that foot in and out, it can hit different spots. Pointing your foot, flexing your foot will hit different spots. And again, we're looking 30 seconds to a minute each place. Oh God, right there. If you guys want to keep going on that one, I'll show you the PVC/stick version. So you're going to do essentially the same thing. So I'll do it without the actual tool first. I'll just use the PVC. So you're going to put the pipe wherever you want it, and then you're just going to apply pressure and kind of massage it up and down, just like that. So if it's something a little bit more pinpoint, same thing. With the actual stick, this is nice because it kind of flexes and bends with the muscle. I highly recommend the stick for quads and calves, particularly quads and calves. and the way we're gonna roll this is we're gonna, rolling puns. We are going to roll it first, and then we're gonna stretch that area. So go ahead and stand on up. And there's a couple of things that we're gonna do for our calves. If you have, I forgot to ask you to grab one, but if you have a step nearby, you can use a step for this, or a wall is just fine. So for now, I'm actually just gonna come right over to this wall over here. And Marina's already going because she knows this one. So either you can do your foot up the wall, which you can't see. Yep, foot up the wall here, because that'll actually stretch the bottom of your foot as well. But there's a couple of them here that we're gonna do differently. So you're gonna step back your right foot first into a lunge. Your left foot is gonna be forwards, and all you're gonna do is kind of lower yourself to the wall in a push-up without bending your back knee, keeping it as straight as possible. Lower yourself down until you feel it, and then you're gonna hold. If you're not finding the intensity that you want, that is when you bend your knee. But for me, actually, I don't get enough stretch if I bend my knee. Keeping it straighter is better for me. But you test which feels good to you. So then from there, you're gonna take your front foot and kind of like when we're doing our knee hinges right here, you're gonna swing your front foot across and open, and you should feel it hitting different places in your calf as you go from side to side. Good, and then let's just go to the other side. So now on this one, it does feel better to bend my knee. And then again, swing that leg across and back to get that different feeling. And then make sure to do the wall stretch on this one. Now, if you're anything like me, you might feel that one leg stretches easier than the other one. For me, it's specifically because I've injured this ankle so much that it literally doesn't bend enough to get me the stretch that I need. So I've got to do some other like manipulations to it. So one of those that I do is I actually just work on the flexion of my foot by putting a little bit of weight on it. So this actually stretches my calf as well because I'm forcing this foot to stretch. So just coming down into your kneel position and do the thing that you're always told never to do, which is to push your knee past your toe. Just put a little weight and then push it. And then that one you should feel some stretch through your Achilles, through your calf. And for me, it actually puts a lot of tension right on the front as well. But that will help with the mobility, which will help with a lot of things as well. Cool. All right, let's just keep moving up the body. Let's go hamstrings next. Cool. Let's go hamstrings next. So pretty much we're gonna do the exact same thing. We are going to start with it right above the knee. It should not be on the knee. It should be right above. And actually, again, you can do this one, both legs on, one leg on at a time, but we're gonna do the exact same process. It's just kind of rolling up and down, that toe goes in and out. If you find some place where it's sticky, spend some time there.
I'm not sure that mine's big enough.
So do the PVC pipe method and take it and hook it underneath and just roll it up and down that way. Yep. And pull it on it, pull it towards you. Yep. And if that's still not working, try a water bottle. So I can do the exact same thing on a water bottle. Oh, actually, that feels really good. Thank you, Lindy, for this water bottle. Any of your Nalgene bottles, or honestly, this water bottle is working real well. When it feels good, feels like something has changed, go ahead and hop over to the other side. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and stretch them out just a little bit. So first thing we are going to do is we are actually going to go back and find a wall. So we'll come back over here. And you're simply going to set yourself up so your feet are flexed against the wall. And this wall's not so great because there's a little lip on it. So I'm actually going to go up on top of the lip. Okay, all you are going to do, and if that doesn't work to keep your feet flexed towards you, another option is to grab a towel, wrap it around your feet. The goal is to simply keep your toes heading towards your nose, okay? So however you do that is up to you. Then from here, keeping your back as flat as you can. See, for me, it's right there. I'll turn around so you can see. Keeping your back as flat as it can, so sit up nice and tall. Really pull those toes towards your nose and simply lean as forward, as straight as you can until you feel a little tugging on your hamstrings. So Lindy, you're a little bit rounded here through your chest. Sit up super duper straight and think about your chin going over your feet instead of down towards your feet. Yeah. And for me, that significantly decreases the range of motion and increases the stretch because I can just lay down all the way. Like, no issue. Like, just down I go. But when I have my toes pulled and when I sit up tall, I can only go this far. So now, keeping the toes back and keeping your back flat, all you're gonna do is tuck your chin to your chest. And for me, if I go slightly down more, that for me, and it might be different for you, but for me, that pulls it up higher into the hamstring and closer into the glute, and maybe even gets a little bit into the low back, just by tucking my chin. And hold for 30 seconds to a minute. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. Cool. Let's hit, does anybody feel specific need to go to hit quads? Or can we jump to low back and glutes?
Low back and glutes for me.
Low back and glutes? Okay. So I'll show you really quickly how to hit your quads, but then we'll jump to low back and glutes. So again, same principle. You are just going to lay it on top of the muscle you're trying to roll. So I am simply going to lay down, throw my quads on top, and slowly roll them back and forth. If you roll over to one side, you're obviously, not dispersing as much pressure. So it's going to be more intense. And that way too, it can kind of roll back and forth this way to hit the outer or the inner. Okay? So let's jump to low back and glutes. I'm gonna turn around so you can see my butt a second. So the placement for this is going to not actually be on our butt. That's a big mistake that a lot of people do when they're foam rolling their butt. Like, you don't want it down here. You want it right where your low back and your glutes come together. So for me, that's right there. It'll be slightly different on everybody, but you're going to lay the roller right where they meet, okay? So let's go ahead and get ourselves set up there. And I might need to go back to the softer one for this one. We will see. Okay. So now that you're there, the roll. You're going to be sitting up on your hands. Then you're going to cross your one leg over the other like a figure four. And then you're going to lean the knee that is up, down, and go down onto that elbow. So since I have my left knee up, I'm going down onto my left elbow. So then, same principle applies. For me and the way my back is feeling today, this is awesome. But slightly go up a little, go down a little, until you find where that sweet spot is. Roll your knee out, roll your knee in, up an inch, down an inch. Good, and when you feel ready, or need to, and if you need to lessen the intensity, come up onto your hand. If you need to increase the intensity, go down onto your elbow. Cool. When you're ready, switch to the other side. Cool. When you are ready, go ahead and roll yourself out. So, Marina, I'm going to have you demonstrate this next one since I don't have the right ball. I'm going to have you do the ball on the wall. Yep. So then, if you have the ball or something similar to it, you're going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to be the exact same placement. You're just going to use the wall, and because of the spherical shape, it's just going to pinpoint it slightly differently. So then just set yourself up against the wall and slowly move right to left, up and down. Cool.
Oh, people can't see unless they say something.
Right. Yep. So you need to talk. There you go.
Whenever I had issues training with Betsy at 24, she said, go get my foam ball. and it's all on my promise.
Go get your ball. And now I talked and took it off of you, but they get the point. Cool. So now, as far as stretching that out. Ooh, sorry, my stand is tipping. We're gonna come back to the wall. And this time we're gonna lay down on our backs with our feet parallel to the wall. Right here. And then all you're gonna do from this position, hold on, let me adjust the camera so you can see me a little bit better. Cool. Marina, move your hips away a little, you're too close. Right there, good. Okay. So, from here, all you're gonna do is, so see how my tailbone just flattens out? So that my hips are still on the ground. I'm just pulling my pelvic floor and my lower core up in. So now I've flattened out my back. Now, from here, I'm not using my core. I'm not using my back. I'm simply pushing on my feet, and that should round your tailbone up, off, and it should provide a release in your low back. So again, I'm on the floor, just resting. I tuck my pelvis, and then I slightly lift my hips. And so from there, if I kind of wiggle my hips back and forth, then you should feel it in different areas on your low back and stretch them out a little differently. Rest whenever you need it, and then just pop right back in. Oh, right there, actually.
Am I flexing my pelvis in?
So, instead of having it popped here, you're pulling it up and in. Yeah, that looks right. Yep. Now just press. And are you feeling a release in your low back?
Not really.
You can or cannot feel it.
Cannot.
Okay. So for that one, we'll do, so head over to the couch and hook your knees over the back of the couch. I don't have a couch in here.
Like up on the couch?
Like, so your back of your knee and your leg will be on top of the couch and the rest of your body will be on the ground. So yeah, so look at Marina, she's correct. Good, and then just relax your legs and now try to lift your butt to your knees with your core pulling towards your chest. Does that make sense? Nope. So you're not flattening out your back. So think about it like a cat-cow in yoga. You're trying to round your spine. And if that's still not getting it, I've got more options.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I think I'm stretching what I'm supposed to.
Okay, so let's go to another option.
That's it.
So we're gonna come back actually onto our, you don't have something big enough. A couple of folded pillows or rolled up towels because you're gonna lay it up. And this one will be difficult as you get bigger, but for now, just lay your hips across. And again, for me, it releases through my low back here. I also honestly do it, this is gonna look so funny, but I do it over an armrest of the couch. So I kind of like drape my body over it like this, and it stretches out my low back. Yeah, like right there. Yeah, and then just let your upper body rest down. And then really breathe into the back body. Or Marina, if you remember the one where we just pulled our knees up underneath and we did it here, that works too. And for this one, I actually pull my hands here so I can really breathe into that low back. Cool. All right, let's all head back down to the ground, and we're gonna do a couple more variations for low back, and this actually gets up into upper back and shoulders as well. I'm gonna come back up here. So, cool. So for this one, and again, then you will have to modify as you grow, but for now, you can still lay down on your tummy. So we're gonna come down on our tummy and arms out in a T. Oh God. And actually for me, the way that my low back works, just laying here really stretches it out. So then you're gonna take your right heel and you're gonna reach your right heel across towards your left palm. And if you wanna keep it in your low back, stay here. And if you wanna push it up into your shoulder, keep pulling it all the way across. Yep, so aim for your hand. And try both sides, kind of ring it out. How's that one feel?
Good. Good.
Cool. This is one of my favorites. And then this other one requires a prop and a partner, but you can kind of use it on the wall. And I'm not going to show you that one because it's a little more complex. So the last one that I'm going to do for low back is we are going to come down onto our backs. I'm going to face this way. And knees hugged in, either taking figure 4 and then rocking side to side, or taking knees up and windshield wipering them both in and out, and then side to side. And that should get both hips and low back. Cool. Oh. All right. If there's not any objections, I'm gonna go chest, shoulders, mid back real quick, and then we'll end there. Cool. So, like all of these things, there's several different options. First one is we're just gonna do basic upper back And really, I'm just reiterating the same positioning, like cues. You want it to be at a T with the muscle you're trying to work. So you don't want it to be along the same, except for one that we're gonna do here in a minute. You want it to be at a T towards. So for this one, Lindy, actually all of us, make sure your hair is out of the way because it sucks to get your hair stuck on this one. I have done it so many times and it hurts. So I'm just gonna tuck it underneath my bra strap here. So you're simply gonna lay it down. So once your hair is out of the way, you're simply gonna lay it down. I'm gonna turn this way so you can see. About mid to upper back. And then you're just slowly, not gonna take your shorts off. Relax as much as it feels good. And roll up and down. Hands can either be at your sides. I like them up in cactus. And then I even just like to rest here. So instead of creating movement, I just lay it across my shoulder blades and I just lay down. Cool. All right, so then, that felt so good. We're just gonna move around our body. So we're gonna get our lats and into our shoulder a little bit. So again, all you're looking to do is tee up to your, whatever you're using for a roller. And for me, I actually want it like up in my armpit, but for I use a softer one for this one. And either rolling back more or rolling forwards more, wherever it needs to be to, oh, right there's mine. To kind of get that shoulder and armpit, oh God, right there, to release. Okay, and then we're just moving around the body. If you have the ball, like the pink ball, this is a perfect time to use it. If you don't, you're gonna use the edge of whatever you're using, and basically you're just gonna set it right in your pack. So I'm gonna come down here, use the edge right on my pack, and just rest. Oh, God, there. And if you can't get it right where you want it on the floor, this is a great time to find a wall and just prop it up against a wall. So for me, this one without the ball is better to do on a wall. And at any time, whether on your pec or on the back on your scap and all of the muscles of your upper back, if you want to angel your arm, that is going to change the intensity. So think about doing like snow angels, and that's going to change your intensity. And actually, for this one, I think I'm gonna try my weight against the wall. I've never actually tried this, but I think it's gonna work well. So I'm gonna use the edge of my, oh God, that already feels really good. So I'm just gonna put my weight on the wall and then lean, that is perfect actually. So just leaning my chest against the weight between the wall. Okay, before we move across to the other pack, we're gonna get our delts and our traps. So again, if you have a ball, great. If you don't, the corner of a door jamb is great. So if you have the ball, you're still gonna use the door frame to make room for your head. You're just gonna place the ball on your trap and then press it into the wall right here. And so again, your head is going past. If you don't have the ball, simply use the corner right here. You might want to pat it, but try to hit the, oh God, yeah, hit the corner right there. This is another time if you've got, and actually Lindy, you can do this with the rolling pin too. The other option is to simply hold the rolling pin in front and back. Actually, I go behind my head and then press it in right there. And then you can get up your neck a little bit. When you're ready to, oh God, right there. When you're ready to move around to the other side, go ahead. Oh. And then as you're at your own pace, go ahead and move around the other side of your body. Get your pec, get your lats, so underneath your ribs on the side, and then get your back. I'm going to show you here in just a second another way to open up your chest and pecs. No, oh, maybe. When you feel ready, go ahead and come back to your back, and you are going to lay whatever you're using the length of your spine. And if you have something smaller, again, either roll up towels or something of that nature, and you're simply going to lay it the length of your spine. I'll just stay facing this way. Oh. Again, watching out for your hair. Now from here, you're going to simply let your arms drape and then do those snow angels up and down. You can roll over to one side to get it more into one side, roll it over into the other side. And again, Lindy, oh, that hurts. So good. So I'll turn to the side so you can see. I like to lay the edge of my roller right at my low back and then let my hips drape down off of it. So instead of being flat up here, I'm just letting my hips drape down and that really gets a good massage for my low back. And it helps release tension through the spine. Cool. All right, we're gonna go through a couple of shoulder stretches, and then we're gonna call it good. Cool. So first one we are gonna do, if you've done yoga, or Marina, I know you've just done this one with me. Go ahead and sit up onto your knees. That's how I like to do this one. You're going to push down like you're trying to push into the ground, but then you're resisting that from happening on the other side. So your arm is straight, your head is going to come over, and then you're just pushing down to the ground. You should instantly feel it down through your neck, down through the front of your shoulder. If you would like a little more, you can either rotate your hand back or front, or simply put a little pressure on your head using your other hand. And that should be an instant stretch down through that neck and shoulder. Good, and then we're gonna go over to the other side. So actively pushing that hand down to the ground, actively resisting and reaching over to the other side. There should be no pain or pinch or pulling. I mean, pulling is moderate, it's stretching, but there definitely should be no pain or pinching. Cool. Now we're gonna come down and we're gonna do a thread the needle. So we're gonna try to hit the shoulder point down onto the ground and give it a little massage and then stretch through our upper back. So we're coming down here and then we're giving our shoulder point, a little bit of a massage. And then depending upon where you place the arm, you'll also get it back into your back. For me, this is hitting my side and my low back. Or you can put more weight down so lift your supporting hand off and just let everything release down. Good. And then when you feel ready, about 30 seconds or a minute, switch sides. My glasses off for this one. Oh. Okay, from here, again, this is going to be familiar for anybody who does yoga, even moderately often. You're going to reach one hand off to the side and then settle your hips back. So I'll go to the side so you can see. So I'm settling my hips back like it's in child's pose, but then I'm going to reach one hand across and that'll stretch through your lat, your side body, your shoulders. When you're ready, cross it over to the other side. Do the same thing. Another favorite way to do this and to get more into the upper back stretch and the shoulder stretch, I'm trying to decide the best place to do this. I'll go over here. So do the exact same thing, but you're going to be standing. So Lou, you've got the nice ledge to work with right there. So you're just going to place your hands on something pretty much parallel zombie arms, but then you're just going to let your back lower down. The closer your hands are together, the deeper the stretch. in your back, and the wider they are, the more you're gonna stretch your chest. Then if you walk hands over to one side, so again, you should be in this position, so instead of centered, you're here. And then over to the other side, look at the other leg. And feel free to wiggle. There is no 100% correct way to do it. I will constantly be wiggling my hips or moving a little bit in, a little bit out to find that sweet spot of where it feels best. Cool. All right. How'd that feel?
Good.
Good.
Oh, good.
Good, good, good. And I mean, there's so much more that we can do. We really didn't get much into hip flexors, and we really didn't like stretch everything. It was more of a just getting the knowledge of how to stretch it when you need to and whatnot. And to get that foam rolling piece in there. You should be rolling and stretching every single day with the amount of work that we're doing. And that's calling myself out as well, because I'm not. But for the quantity of activity and the type of activity that we're doing, we should be rolling and stretching every day.
How much time do you feel like, I mean, obviously it'll differ for everyone, but on average, how much time would you recommend?
5 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes. If it's taking much longer than 5 minutes, then you really need to set aside once a week where you're really spending 45 minutes, an hour. I mean, Lindy was talking about getting a little, like, yes, it is a little boring to just sit there and stretch for 45 minutes, an hour, but again, it's necessary based upon your body. Some bodies are not so bad. Yeah. And Marina, you had specifically asked about people sitting all day and things like that. So the one where we were draped over, that one's huge for upper back posture, and opening up those shoulders and opening up that chest. For your hips and low back, the one against the wall and the figure 4 are really good. Basically anything that does the opposite, like so hip flexors and quads, whatever does the opposite or stretches out the muscle that's relaxed,
Okay.
is what you should be looking at for that.
That helps. Today definitely helped. I needed it.
Yeah. Okay. No, it felt. I could have spent an hour just on my lower body and an hour just on my upper body today. Like I could have. Lindy's like, "What? You crazy?" Like, no, I literally could have just stretched for a full hour between foam rolling and stretching, and then doing maybe a little bit of mobility. Yeah.
Sometimes to like entertain myself, Lindy, I'll put on an episode of something and I'll be like, okay, you have to stretch the whole episode. And then it like goes in my mind.
But really, if you just focus on like Monday, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on my calves and my hamstrings. Tuesday, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on my quads and my glutes. Wednesday, I'm going to spend some time on my upper body, and then just loop that back. And even if you're spending those 5 minutes, 5 days a week, like kind of pinpointing, it will make a huge difference. And really, like I said, especially at the end and kind of about wiggling your foot around at the beginning, really just wiggle around and find what feels good. like, oh, if I do, like, you guys don't have straps, or else, good God, I would have had the straps out and I would have been like doing, my favorite is to do like that lat and low back stretch on the strap. Oh, feels so good. But use what you have. Use your water bottles, use your foam rollers, use your walls, use steps. Whatever you do so you're getting a stretch on the muscle but not finding pain is great.
Thanks.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna stop recording. We're gonna take a picture real quick.